Have you ever set out to accomplish a goal, and then when you accomplished it, you feel great in the moment, but it just doesn't provide that long-lasting fulfillment like you thought it would? Well, that's happened to me quite a bit, and sometimes I didn't even really realize that I was doing this to myself. So in this video, I want to talk about some of the things that I think about when I'm setting up my goals so that they don't become superficial.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, it's that we're powerful beyond all measure. So, rise and shine.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy KMoE. And just like in the intro, we're talking about how to avoid superficial outcomes when setting your goals. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're an ambitious person and you take the time to think about your goals, think about the things that you want, you write them down, you come up with a plan, you try, you fail, and then you try again. And then eventually you may accomplish the thing that you set out to accomplish. But in doing that, I can speak for myself. What I've encountered is I would set this goal, accomplish this goal, and it's kind of like I'm just on to the next goal. And even when it's a big goal, I take the time and I try to appreciate it in the moment, but it just doesn't provide that sense of fulfillment that I thought it would. So I've had this happen to me quite a bit, and I began to see a pattern, right? And it's like this last time, actually at the beginning of this year, I actually got sick a little bit. I was encountered a few different illnesses, and you know, when you're sick, all you want to do is get better. And not feeling well and not being able to move around and do too much, it gave me a lot of time to kind of reflect on, you know, where I'm at, what I'm trying to do, the goals that I'm trying to reach. And I really came to a realization that I've just been setting goals and things that I feel are important, but the goals that I set had become superficial. It's like, it really made me think about like, okay, well, why am I setting out to do this thing? Because I've noticed a pattern in my own life that all of these goals, I would feel great when I've accomplished them. Like one of the ones that I always feel real good about is whenever I release a song. When I'm done with a song and I'm able to release that song, there's a great feeling of accomplishment and validation, even to a certain extent. But it doesn't last. That feeling doesn't last. Then it becomes, okay, well, now that the song is released, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And yeah, there's some other things that you need to do. You need to move on and further yourself. But it's like I do all this, take all this action, put all this effort into accomplishing this goal. I get there and it just doesn't provide the fulfillment that it used to, or that I feel like it should. It's very fleeting. So how do we avoid this, right? So all this reflection really just made me come back to a very simple phrase, a very simple line of questioning. It's, what do you want and why do you want it? Now, when you ask yourself these questions, and when I ask myself these questions, I don't take this question lightly, because it can be easy to just say, oh, I want this because of this, but without really putting in that real effort and really digging behind the feelings and the thoughts behind why it is that you want something. So I'll provide an example. As a musician, as an artist, I want to be impactful, right? So I set up a goal. Instead of having, and a little bit of trial and error in the past had already kind of led me to some of this line of thinking. So one of my main goals, it wasn't to have a certain amount of streams or a certain amount of followers, because I know when you get wrapped up into the numbers, then you can kind of shy away from some of the true meaning behind what it is you're doing. And then it kind of changes your tactics, and you begin to do things that might not necessarily align with what it is that you truly want. So sometimes I try to avoid those numbers and try to hit an ideal or an aspiration, right? So in my case, one of my goals that I would write out, and I also made it into an affirmation, is I am an impactful artist, and I improve my artistry every day. So when I wrote that with the intention of, hey, every day I'm gonna take the actions to get better and be better and do better. But what I noticed is I kind of got hung up a little bit over time. I got hung up with that idea of an impactful artist, right? So, and the thing that hung me up about it is, initially when I thought, hey, I want to be an impactful artist, because I feel like if you're an impactful artist, money will come, notoriety will come, everything that I would want in terms of success as being known as an artist would come with having an impact. That means I'm making an impact on people's lives. But over time, I kind of lost my line of thinking, and it kind of turned into an ego-based thing. It turned into impactful. Do I want to be impactful because I want to change people's lives and I want to be a positive influence on people's lives? Or do I want to be impactful for validation of myself and how great I am, or how great I could be, right? So over time, it was a weird dynamic because it kind of shifted over time. It started off as something true and altruistic that I really identified with, but over time, I lost that sense of reasoning, that sense of meaning behind it, and it eventually became a need to feed the ego. So that's something that you kind of got to be careful about. So what did I end up doing to kind of correct this, right? So once I had that time to reflect, and I noticed that I had to go back to the essential questions, and the essential questions being, what do you want and why do you want it? What do I want? Let's break that down. I do want to be an impactful artist, but I don't want to be an impactful artist for ego and validation and confirmation, right? I want to be an impactful artist because when I write music, what I want my music to do for other people is the same thing, same reason why I like music myself. There's been countless artists that I've listened to, even still to this day, that when I'm in a bad mood, if I listen to a certain type of music or a certain song, it will automatically lift my mood and get me into a more positive mind frame every time, without fail. There's been times when I've been going through things, sad things or times when I was mad, and I would listen to a particular artist or a particular song, and it would boost my mood. It would ground me. It would even teach me something, right? It had a profound impact on my life, and for the better. So that's the reason why when I make music, that is the intent behind my music. That is my why do I want it, right? Why do I want to be an impactful artist? Because I want to impact other people's lives in a positive way, the same way that other artists has impacted my life in a positive way. So that's my why. But I need to make sure that I keep that top of mind, right? That's important. Now, going back to improve my artistry every day, that's important because that is an action that I can focus upon that doesn't really rely on metrics. It is something that I am directly responsible for. And even if in this chaotic world that we live in, that I live in, a chaotic, busy life full of responsibility, right? How can I improve my artistry every day? So that could be something as simple as, writing a song for 15 minutes, just practicing the craft. Whatever I can do, as long as I do something every day, I'm improving my artistry, right? I say all that to say you really need to focus on what do you want and why do you want it. That why is going to be crucial into the point of when you finally accomplish said thing, your why is going to be the thing that keeps that fulfillment there for you, right? So that was just a little example of something that I had to look at for myself, right? So what it is that you want, like you really need to sit with yourself and make sure that this thing that you want is something that you want, not something that you think somebody else wants for you, not something that society pushes and say, oh, in order to get this, you need to do this. It's not something that your parents want. It's what do you want? It's going to be crucially important that it stems from you. And I hate to say it, sometimes it takes a little trial and error to get this thing right, but really sit with that. Really sit with that question. Ask that question to yourself, write it down, and then write down why you want it. And be really honest and candid with yourself. This is kind of an abstract concept that we're talking about. Like it's not like 1, 2, 3, and this, and this. Like this is gonna be very individualized to yourself. Like you're gonna need to tap into yourself, how you feel, how you think, and really identify those things within yourself to be able to set a goal that when you accomplish it, it's gonna have some real meaning. It's gonna have some meat behind it. So I challenge you, we all have tasks that we need to accomplish. But when you're setting a goal, a major goal in your life, please take the time to identify what it is that you want, not what somebody else wants. Please take the time to identify what you want, and then take the time to think about and really understand why you want it. Because as you go through that line of questioning, you'll definitely come up with some answers, and you'll be able to frame that goal in such a way that when you do accomplish it, or you get closer to it, or whatever the case may be, you'll be able to keep that feeling of fulfillment, and you'll really feel good about it. So I hope some of this talk has really benefited you. Please provide, if you got any tips for me or for the rest of the audience, drop a comment. Hey man, I hope y'all doing well. Y'all know the vibes, man. Peace and love, and be good, man. Take care. Peace and love.
So, rise and shine. Know it's time to grind. Gonna make it every time. Can't you see it in my eyes? Only positive vibes in my mind. Only matter of time before I get what's mine.